What level of audacity didn't you know existed until you saw it with your own eyes? Reserving seats at the bar apparently means you have a monopoly on all the tables in a restaurant. For context, I work as a host. I got into my shift at 11 a.m. and began reviewing reservations for the rest of the day. I noticed there was a reservation for a party of 11 for 7 p.m. and it was marked as bar booked. Because we don't normally get parties of that size reserving seats at the bar, and we'd been having issues with our booking system, damn you, OpenTable, I wanted to make sure that it was intentional. The conversation went as follows. For the sake of this story, the guest will be christened Cougar Chest, or Cece, for short, because the concept of sunscreen was foreign to this woman. Me. Hello, this is Western Weakness with restaurant name. I was hoping to reach Cece regarding your 7 p.m. reservation. I noticed that your reservation was scheduled with a preference for bar seating, and I wanted to make sure that was intentional and not just a fluke in our booking system. Cece, yeah, we're doing a bar crawl tonight. The group I'm with is a bit rowdier, and we'd prefer to sit at the bar so we don't disturb other tables. Me, that's perfectly fine, ma'am. Just so you know, it means you will be sitting at high tops. Is that okay with you? Cece, yes, that's fine. Will there be options for food at the bar? Me, yes ma'am, our bar is full service. Cece, that works out. Okay, see you tonight. Absolutely zero mention of wanting a table. Fast forward to 7 p.m., business is steady and we've managed to get through most of our reservations for the evening. Guests from the party of 11 start piling in, and I show them to the reserved seats at the bar. About 15 minutes go by, and most of the party is already seated at the bar and engaged in riotous conversation. The guest of honor herself, Cece, storms up to the host stand with a very pinched, displeased look on her face. I smile and ask her if there's something I can help her with. Cece, yeah, I'm just wondering when we're going to be able to finally get a table. Me, genuinely confused. Ma'am, you made your reservation for the bar. Cece, yeah, but that doesn't mean we can't get a table. Me, were you the one I spoke to on the phone earlier? Cece, yes. Me, okay. When we spoke on the phone, I do remember informing you that booking seats at the bar meant you'd be seated at high tops, and you said that was okay. Did you think that booking seats at the bar meant something different? Cece, huffs, you're very rude. I don't understand why we can't just have a table. You have the space for it. We want those tables. At that point, I was operating off 5 hours of sleep and had been on my feet all day, so I just walked away and handed the situation over to the manager, who started pushing tables together. We weren't horribly busy due to a snowstorm, and technically we had the space to accommodate them. I'm just over other people's entitlement and lack of foresight. 2. Older sister thinks she deserves my bride price money. Everyone in this post is over the age of 30. I am engaged to my fiancé. I am Asian, and he is white. In my culture, we have what's called a bride price. It's an agreed upon amount of money, by both parties, that the groom pays to the bride's parents, or a sibling if the parents are deceased. In my culture, our weddings last 2 days and are long and tedious, so I've made it clear to my fiancé from the beginning that we'd be having an American wedding instead, and he's fine with it. My sister thinks we are having a traditional wedding despite me telling her at least twice in the past it'll be an American wedding. Long story short, all my many siblings basically dumped the burden of taking care of our parents onto me not too long after I finished high school. My dad passed away over a decade ago, so it's just been my mom and me. They neither extended a helping hand nor offered much assistance, even when my mom asked them to run errands for her. They always deferred it back to me. Even when my elderly mom had a stroke and needed 24/7 care, I told them I would need help. They all said they'd help but didn't. Even my brother, who lived with us at the time, barely helped. My mom is in a nursing home now getting proper care as she also developed dementia after her stroke. My mom, of course, cannot handle finances. My sister messaged me the other day and wedding planning came up. She mentioned the traditional wedding since my fiancé and I haven't really planned anything yet. A wedding is not a priority right now. I told her I won't be having a wedding in my culture because none of my siblings deserve the money. She told me she deserves the money because she helped take care of me when I was younger. There's an 8-year age gap between us. Spoiler. She got married not too long after finishing high school and moved out of state to live with her husband. So she literally only helped my parents babysit me here and there until I was maybe 10. I could not think of where the audacity came from, and every time I think of it I still can't wrap my mind around the entitlement. So now wedding plans have changed. She's no longer invited and won't know any of my plans either. 3. Sorry, that's no longer your Uber. I went on a cruise recently with family and thought I'd have some entitled people stories from the cruise. Surprisingly, I didn't, at least not until after. After we disembarked, my wife ordered an Uber. She got the notification that it was only 2 minutes away. I didn't expect it that soon and was stoked. My wife saw the car drive up, so she went over to confirm with the driver while I brought the bags over. As she was talking to the driver, an irate man came running up, saying he had been waiting 30 minutes and this was his Uber. My wife showed him her phone, which had the make and color of the car, the license plate, and the name of the driver. The man refused to show his phone, insisted it was his ride, and went to talk to the driver. Turns out, the man had booked this Uber, but when the driver sent a message saying he was at the port but in the bathroom and would be a couple of minutes, the man canceled. Then he tried to rebook and got the same driver, who said he was in the bathroom and would be a few minutes. The man canceled the ride again. Apparently, after that, as the driver was leaving the restroom, he accepted our request and was there in less than 2 minutes. The dude was pissed, yelling that he had been waiting and he should get the car. Sorry, that's not how it works. As we were driving away, I heard the man yell, "Thanks for being an asshole." The driver yelled back, "Don't cancel twice and expect a ride." Some people, I swear. But at least we got out of there much quicker than expected, so thanks jerk, for queuing up a ride for us. 4. Friend is mad my brother won't date her. My sister has this friend named Liza. Both are 26. Liza has always had a crush on our brother, Philip. Philip is 33 and has no kids. Liza has 3 kids by 2 different men. So my sister, Liza and I were doing some early Christmas shopping. I was going down the list of what I was planning on getting everyone. When Philip came up, Liza said I should get him coal. I asked why. She tells me that she has been dropping hints to Philip that they should spend time together during the upcoming holidays. Philip wasn't picking up her hints, so Liza flat out asked him to be with her during Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like, get to know her kids, and her family during the holidays. Philip told her no. He usually spends time out of the country anyway. So I asked Liza if she thinks Philip should get coal because he rejected her. And she says, honestly, I kinda always thought Philip was gay. But now I got other suspicions. I looked at my sister in the rearview mirror like, you're not gonna check your friend. So my sister asks, what suspicions? Liza said, don't play dumb y'all. If an adult man doesn't like adult women, there's only 2 other options. I saw my sister wasn't going to say anything to her. So I did. I asked her, so because my brother doesn't want to be with you, he's either gay or a pedo. She said, it's not even that he doesn't want to be with me, he won't even give it a chance. That's weird and not fair. He won't give us a chance because I have kids. So I'm like, yeah. If Philip dated you, he'd become an immediate dad. Like, day 1. That's crazy responsibility for anyone. Then Liza cuts me off and is like, Philip is a 33-year-old man and needs some damn responsibility. She was yelling. So I yelled back, his responsibility is not gonna be your damn kids. Then my sister finally speaks up just to tell us to calm down, and I was getting taken home. I got home and was telling my mom and Philip about it. We had a laugh. It's just crazy she's upset my brother won't date her. She tries to slander his name by calling him a possible pedo or a gay man because he has no interest in her. Edit, I keep getting asked why I hang with Liza. Liza is my sister's friend. My sister is going through mental health and addiction issues. My sister is not ready for help. We can't force her to do anything, so we just keep her close to make sure she's safe. She's family. Liza is a friend that comes in and out of my sister's life. When she's out, my sister is fine and works to better herself. When she's in, my sister finds herself in chaos and trouble. I also got asked about my brother's feeling towards the pedo comment. He literally doesn't care. He's got a job in another country and will be out of the USA by February. You could slap him right now and you wouldn't ruin his day. 5. Entitled jerk on airplane threatened me to try to make me give up my seat. This happened back when I was a teenager, over 30 years ago. I was, and still am, only 5'5", but I worked out and practiced martial arts. I was toned but not super buff, and you couldn't see my muscles with the baggy clothes I was wearing. I was on an international flight in economy class while my parents used reward points to go to first class. I didn't care because I would take Dramamine and sleep through the flight as much as possible. I put my luggage in the overhead compartment and was sitting in my aisle seat, getting as comfortable as I could on a Continental Airlines flight. Then, some entitled jerk, middle-aged man, walked up and ordered me to move. I was getting slightly groggy from the Dramamine already and just stared at him. He then told me I was in his seat and needed to move. I told him I was in the seat assigned to my ticket and he must have the wrong seat. He started yelling at me, calling me a stupid bitch, and threatened to yank me up by my hair if I didn't move out of his seat. I told him if he laid a finger on me, I would beat the ever-loving shit out of him. He demanded to see my ticket. I told him I didn't have to show him shit. A flight attendant heard the raised voices and walked over to see what the problem was. He was flailing his arms and yelling, "This stupid bitch is in my seat and won't move." The flight attendant asked to see my ticket, and I showed it to her. She said that I was in the correct seat. She then asked to see his ticket, and he showed it to her begrudgingly, insisting that the flight attendant was wrong. She looked at it and told him that his ticket was for the seat behind me. He turned even redder than he already was and looked away. He couldn't bring himself to make eye contact with me and mumbled something as he got in the seat behind me. I laughed at him and went back to trying to take a nap. Lucky for him, I didn't like to recline the seats, so I stayed upright the whole flight. The flight was 11 hours, so it gave him time to calm down. I don't remember any interactions with him when the flight landed though. 6. Friend expected me to pay for everything. I just had to cut off an old friend that I reconnected with after I had my son. She has 2 boys. She and her husband are separated but still legally married and living together. Recently, we went to a fair where she expected me to pay for everything. Every time we've ever gone anywhere, I'd pay. The last time we went out, I suggested Applebee's because it's cheaper and I usually don't mind paying. She said she was expecting something more fancy, as if it was a date. Mind you, I am also happily married. I just laughed it off, and we went to Applebee's anyway. Well, recently we went to the fair with our kids for a playdate. Never once did I say I was paying because I'm not a millionaire, and I can't afford to take a family of 3, her and her kids, plus me and my son, so really a family of 5, to the fair. We get there, and I'm buying the pass for my son and myself. She said she left her wallet in her car. No big deal. I'll pay, and then she can just Venmo me. I pay for all the passes. We go on rides, we are having fun, and it's time to eat. We get food at the fair, which was extremely expensive. Her kids are just yelling out what they want and she has absolutely no control over them. I hurry to order everything and this girl has the nerve to add hella more food to the order, which comes out to $110. After we eat, it's getting really hot and our kids are tired, so I ask her, "Hey, before we leave, can you Venmo me?" She looks me dead in the eyes and says she has no money and that she's broke because her husband basically cut her off. I told her, "If you knew that, why the fuck did you suggest the fair and why did you say you would Venmo me?" She said, "I don't understand because my husband and I both have good paying jobs and she's a stay-at-home mother, so it's harder." I didn't know what to say. I just said, "Okay," put my son in his stroller and got up to leave. She followed with her kids. As we are leaving, she has the nerve to say she wishes they could go into this escape room, not included in the passes I bought everyone, and keeps looking at me with his begging face. Honestly, it made me feel disgusted. So I said no, we need to go back. It's getting late and my kid needs to nap. We both say bye. The same day she's calling and texting asking for the next hangout and inviting herself to my house, saying she can come right now with her boys. I say I'll get back to her. Now it's been 4 days and she calls and texts me every day, which I don't respond to. After I told my husband about everything, he told me to absolutely cut her off, that it's trifling, and she's completely taking advantage of me. Update. I texted her and said exactly how I feel and that she needs to pay me back. She got mad. I ended up blocking her and not responding to her last text. Me. Hey, I know you've been texting and calling to hang out and schedule, but honestly, I'm not really interested unless you can pay me back for the other day. I spent a lot of money and you lied to me and told me you would Venmo. I feel like you took advantage of me because we were in front of the kids when I asked you to pay me back. I would never do that to you. You're just assuming that we are well off because we both work when in reality it's because we budget. If you had been straightforward that you didn't have money, I would have brought snacks and we could have gone to the free splash pad or the park or literally anything free. Her. What do you expect from me? I'm depressed and going through a divorce and have no money. I tell you the truth and then you use it against me? You're just holding everything you paid for over my head when I never asked you to do that. Me. You literally did ask me to do that. WTF. You said you were going to Venmo me and literally lied to my face and made sure to wait until after I paid for everything. I get you're depressed and I'm sorry for what you're going through, but that has no correlation to you lying and waiting until after I paid to guilt trip me. Her. I have enough going on right now. I really don't need to be dealing with this honestly. Me. So are you going to pay me back or not? Her. No, you don't need me to pay you back. You're doing just fine. You're just a greedy person. You literally have your husband paying for everything. You have no idea what it's like to struggle and I'm struggling so bad right now. We are staying together for the kids but he doesn't help me with anything and I never have money. Me. You literally showed up with Starbucks though. Her. You're going to be like that and watch all my expenses. Why are you even texting me? I don't want to be friends with someone that's going to hold everything over my head. You're just a greedy person. You think you're better than me and you're not. You always look down on people. I never should have told you shit about my marriage because you clearly don't even care. I never responded to her last text and just blocked her. 7. I'm old enough to be your damn dad. My fiance, her parents and I went out to a bar for a little hangout time. No special occasion. Just wanted to spend time together. So we're at our table and we're talking, drinking and laughing. Phil is eating a burger and sharing fries with Mill. My fiance accidentally spilled beer on me while laughing. Good times are being had. At one point I catch a bit of conversation over at the bar. Though I wasn't trying to listen in, they were just loud enough to be heard, so I glanced over. An entitled man, EM, is standing at the bar, leaning over with his wallet in his hand, talking with the bartender. EM. You can't be serious. I mean, look at me. Come on. Bartender. I'm not gonna risk my job for not following policy. So you can show me your ID or you can leave. EM. I don't have to show you shit. I'm old enough to be your damn dad. I have a right to drink here. Bartender. And you can, as soon as you show me your ID. I just shook my head with a chuckle and turned back to my table when I heard someone go oi, back at the bar. This time I turned my head, as did the rest of my table and a few other patrons too. It came from a different guy sitting further away at the bar, calling out to the man and bartender, older man, and I'm old enough to be your dad. He then removes his cap to show a white comb-over haircut, in reference to the entitled guy, older man. Quit giving the lad a hard time and show your ID, it won't kill you. EM gives a disgusted look, then without a word opens his wallet and shows it to the bartender, all while still scowling at the older man. The bartender takes a look, thanks him and tells him that now he can serve him. The man wasn't even drunk, and he was acting like that. 8. It's just a kid. Hi y'all, I'm back with another story from my time working at a very popular theme park in Florida. This situation happened when I worked in attractions. I was the single rider-greeter one afternoon during a calm period. The park was busy but not crazy, and my particular attraction actually had decent wait times, which meant I could socialize with guests more. A little boy, around 5, walked up with his family. They were resting a bit until their fast pass time arrived. Their little boy was just awkwardly staring up at me even when his family walked some feet away, so I engaged him in conversation. I asked about his day and what he had done and I answered any questions he had. He was delighted to have someone listen to him. He had a lot to say. A cute, bubbly, talkative baby. The little boy started asking me about my particular attraction. He wanted to know if it was scary. I started explaining it to him when a man walked up and interrupted, asking about something else. He literally just cut in. Bear in mind I was one of 3 greeters. The other 2 greeters were just standing there smiling, but the man came straight to me. I politely told him to hold on a minute as I was with a guest at the moment. The little boy literally stood with his little chest out. The man looked around before looking down. Man, smirking. Tisk, it's just a kid. Me. He's a guest. One of the other cast members can assist you. The man huffed and walked to one of my free co-workers. The little boy smiled, and I could tell he felt seen and important. He was adorable. Though yes, his parents totally slick left him there for me to watch, while they rested a few feet away, lol. 9. No, I cannot Amazon Prime your dog's antibody levels. So I worked at an animal clinic where we do health certificates for pets, both domestic and international. Because there are a ton of requirements, we only book these over the phone and only for current patients. Domestic HC simple. Vaccines, deworming, easy. International HC chaos, paperwork, blood work, tears, and at least one titer test that costs $650 and takes 4 weeks for results. Anyway, I get a call from Kate. Fake name, real headache. She needs a health certificate appointment this week because she's traveling next week. I think, okay, if she's flying to Idaho or something, we're golden. Nope, she's going to Hawaii. Let me just say, Hawaii is domestic in the same way that Pluto is technically a planet. So I ask if she's done the mandatory titer test. She says, what's that? I begin explaining, and she cuts me off with, that's why I'm calling the professionals. Can't your office just do it and get it done soon? Ah yes, let me go into the back, put your dog's blood through my magical 15-minute antibody machine, and fax the results to Maui. Totally. I explain the whole 4-week lab turnaround. She does not like that. She begins raising her voice about how she needs to take her pet because she's moving to Hawaii and we are obligated to help her. Ma'am, we are obligated to follow the laws of biology and the Department of Agriculture, not your moving schedule. She demands we prioritize her test with the lab. Like, girl, the lab is not DoorDash? There is no extra protein-style rush order option. After screeching in a full emotional loop for several minutes, she finally calms down and says, fine, at least give me a list of vets who can help me since you're refusing. So I gave her the list. Will the list make her travel timeline possible? Absolutely not. Because the math remains. 4, week test 1 week till flight still a big fat nope. I swear some people really think yelling can bend time. 10. Entitled brat on bus. So I recently encountered an entitled brat. I was sitting in the back of a double-decker bus, on the bottom level. I had on a body warmer, hat, and gloves, as well as my headphones, but I had not turned them on. This is important for later. I was also playing Pokemon Go, all while my stomach felt like it was spinning nonstop. Then a man and 2 primary school kids, a boy and a girl, got on the bus. The man, I assumed was the dad, sat in the seat next to me, the boy across from his dad, and the girl across from me. She is the entitled brat. From the second the brat sat down across from me, she just stared at me. Blank, no expression. Just stared at me. I tried to ignore her, but it was a bit hard to ignore a child blankly looking at me. This went on for about 10 minutes before her dad asked her a question, and she just ignored him and kept staring at me. The dad asked her again. She ignored him again, at which point the dad just asked her, why are you staring at the man? She once again ignored him, but then she started cracking her knuckles, not actually cracking them, but just pretending she was over and over again, while still staring at me. Here's where the entitlement starts. The dad, getting annoyed, asked, what are you doing? The brat then turned and looked at him. She replied, he took a photo of me and he's been licking his lips at me. This caused her dad, brother, I think he was her brother, and other nearby passengers to look at me. I didn't react at first as I honestly wasn't really focused on her. I was trying to ignore her and play on my phone until my stop came. She then pointed at me. Take his phone, she yelled. Her dad honestly looked unsure what to do. The brother, however, jumped to my defense. No he didn't and no he hasn't. Yes he did, she yelled back at him. If I said he did then he did. The brother just shook his head, looked at the dad and said, she's doing it again. This seemed to break the dad out of whatever trance he was in, as he just looked at the brat, who now was looking like a deer in headlights. No he did. Take his phone, look and see. And headphones too, she insisted. The dad just shook his head, pressed the stop button, and when the bus stopped, he and the brother had to usher the brat off the bus. All the while, she was saying, this isn't our stop, and just take the phone. I hadn't even moved. I wasn't playing Pokemon Go anymore, but I pretended to in order to avoid interactions. When the bus started moving, the brat screamed, but I wanted them. I think she was talking about my phone and headphones. I did react to this by looking outside the window when I heard the brat screaming. Another passenger turned and said to me, she said you took a photo of her. I replied, yes, I know, I heard everything. And judging by the response of the man and the boy who was with her, she's done this sort of thing before. Nothing else really happened after that, but the whole situation could have gone bad. She literally was accusing me of something that could have potentially gotten me kicked off the bus or even resulted in the police being involved. Have you ever dealt with a choosing beggar, or someone whose entitlement was completely detached from reality? Share your worst stories in the comments.
Thanks for watching. If you got this far, leave a comment, like if you liked it, and follow for more.